Hey guys, it's the MetalBlade 5, and as you can read in the title, I finally finished Xenoblade Chronicles 2! 8 months after its release, because it's a very fucking long game! My first playthrough took 102 hours to finish! It was even longer than my first playthrough of you-know-what. And that's without doing every side quest, as I only got a handful of rare blades, not counting story-related ones due to dumb RNG. I mentioned on several occasions how I hadn't finished the game yet, so part of the reason why I'm making this video is to say, hey, I beat it now, and to cover the bizarre story on how I actually came to reach the ending. And as such, there will be some gigantic spoilers, so if you yourself haven't finished the game, then don't watch this. Back when the game was first revealed, I stated that I would probably never finish this game due to the sheer length of Xenoblade games. I never got far in X as I got stumped on what to do and struggled to explore enough of the world to continue with story progress, so I thought 2 would be a repeat of that. It also didn't help that I got the game at the same time as I got Mario Odyssey and Fire Emblem Warriors, both of which attracted my attention far more from the get-go due to me looking forward to them more as a result of having far more experience with those series, whilst X was my only prior experience with Xenoblade, and Odyssey and Warriors have much faster and to-the-point gameplay due to genre differences, so they did hold my attention longer, and I finished their main campaigns long before I finished 2. Not that I wasn't enjoying 2, even though the beginning is expectedly not as interesting as the rest of the game. I was interested in the story and the characters from what I had seen at that point, and while I had issues with the voice acting and them not even trying to match the dialogue with the lip movements, I got over them pretty quickly. Neo was the biggest example of that. I didn't like her voice at first, with the deep voice and a Welsh accent for a cat girl.
At least I wouldn't wet myself for the promise of a measly underground.
But it grew on me, and Nia is my favorite character after a certain Shellhead. It's just that my play sessions of the game for the first few months after getting the game were mostly short and disjointed, so I wasn't making much progress over that time, but still more than X, as I knew what to do. Eventually, I managed to meander my way along to Chapter 3 in Araya, where my playstyle towards this game was single-handedly changed by the actions of one man, my favorite character in the game.
Looks like all the chat about the Aegis was true.
Zeke von Genbu, bringer of chaos! Mostly known as Zeke, and often addressed as the Zekenator! I knew that Zeke was going to be a party member prior to getting the game, as the Nintendo Direct focusing solely on this game featured him when covering party members. And from that glimpse, I thought he looked really cool, and wanted to use him as a result. Then before encountering Zeke for the first time on my playthrough, I heard people comparing him to Owain, which made me want to meet him even more, and upon meeting him, I fully understood the comparison. Zeke automatically became my favorite character just from his first proper cutscene, as he's just so funny and flamboyant with the worst look. He won me over with this line alone.
Handling a man's turtle.
So as I knew Zeke would be a party member, I was like, I need him in the party. I need to see more of him. So wanting to get Zeke in the party became my primary driving force for playing the game, alongside finishing Odyssey and Warriors. My play sessions started to become longer, more frequent, but still kind of disjointed as other games were releasing around the time that I was still playing the game, like Kirby Star Allies. And then I kept playing the game solely because I was enjoying it. I also slowly started to get over the one thing that was putting me off at this point, which was getting RNG screwed by the blade system. It wasn't until the middle of exploring More Ardain for the first time and getting Morag in the party that I finally got my first non-story rare blade, being Nim with her. Then I slowly started to get some more rare blades through RNG, like Electro with Nia, and after finally getting Zeke, in which as soon as the party formation window popped up, I was like, I'm putting Zeke in the front! Some of the very first core crystals I used with Zeke gave me rare blades, one of which being Vale, who I kept on him for the rest of the game. I don't know if she's considered good or not, but I found her really strong. Although I was still severely screwed by RNG in the ice department. I barely got any ice blades throughout the whole game, and my only rare one was Godfrey with Zeke. And while I hear he's not very good, I stuck with him for the rest of the game after his awakening because I desperately needed an ice blade for combos. But after getting Zeke in the party, finishing Chapter 5, and later reaching Tantal for the first time, I started to stop playing for a while, as I was just busy with other stuff. I had university exams at the time, which I did pass, by the way, and most of my attention was going towards the Fire Emblem Blazing Blade LP. But I still got one short play session in during this time. That one being for the Smash Brothers video when talking about Rex and Pyra, where I actually recorded some gameplay for background footage with this stupid border that appears whenever I record from my Switch. So you can see where I was in the game at that point. The bosses were also kicking my ass a lot. There were very few bosses in this game after Chapter 2 that I beat on my first try in comparison to the total number of bosses. This both frustrated me to a degree as I felt a number of bosses did some really annoying and unfair moves, and it also made the rest of the game seem daunting to me as I knew it would get progressively harder. Also, I wasn't the best at following the battle system and mechanics, as things like the elemental orbs didn't sound very clear to me from the tutorial, and I honestly forgot some things between play sessions. With no way to review tutorials, I didn't feel like I was playing the game very well, which also discouraged me a bit. It wasn't until after I recorded the finale of the Blazing Blade LP that I focused most of my attention on finishing the game at that point. I'd gotten to Chapter 6, I'd reached Theoswar, and I made far more progress in this game than I ever did with X. So at this stage, I didn't want to waste all the time I had put into it and my positive feelings towards the plot and characters by not finishing it. Plus that DLC campaign got announced at E3, and I knew if I played that, I would probably never finish this. For the next 3 weeks, I was pretty much only playing this game on a near daily basis from the point I was currently at, all the way up until I finished it. This is why the bonus episode for Blazing Blade took longer than usual to come out. I was too busy playing this game. I neglected a number of side quests due to having a lot of trouble knowing what to do to finish them. So I thought that I would do a little more story progress and then try to finish up all those side quests to get more experience so I'm better prepared. But then we got captured by Zeke's dad and Pyro was taken away. And then Genbu started going on a suicide route, so then I wanted to do that so I wouldn't break the immersion. And then after having to fight Akos, Petroka, and Mikhail in a very frustrating boss battle, Pyra gets taken away by Jin! As that ended Chapter 6, and due to failing many times at the Torner Trio boss, I wanted to focus solely on finishing all the available side quests. But so many of them required having Pyra, meaning my progress was blocked. I tried doing Wolfric's quest, as Wolfric is one of my favorite blades, and I got the rock that was trapping the miners out of the way, but they wouldn't get out just because Pyra wasn't with me. At that point, I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to do story progress until we get Pyra back. So then I went down the Spirit Crucible Elphys, got to love Zeke's character even more than what I did before due to his friendship with Pandoria rather than just because he's a funny man. Got stuck for a bit at the Insect Cave section due to the unique monster, and finally reaching the end where I got the massive plot twist that Nia is actually a blade. I'm surprised that I was not spoiled on that considering how long it took me to get here, and then she gets friend-zoned by Rex.
I love you, Rex.
What?
Nia, I love you too. I love you and all you guys.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
And then...
I got Nia as a blade, which I only used for the first playthrough of the Cliffs of Morathur, including the Melos battle, that also took me tons of tries to beat you to fucking Monado Cyclone. I much prefer Nia being a party member due to her being the designated healer. I used her in 99.9% of battles as she was the backbone of the team. But after finally getting Pyra back with her amazing new form to boot, and watching the opening cutscene of Chapter 8, I ended the play session, and after the shit with Melos, I decided to look up how the elemental orbs worked, where I also learned how to better increase your blade combo meter, and I got so much better at battles from there. I once did a chain attack that dealt over 4 million damage. I was still unable to continue side quests as everyone got separated in the creepy land of Morathur, but once I got everyone back and was about to enter the World Tree, I spent like 2 weeks just doing all the available side quests. But during this period, there was a quest where I needed a specific field skill, which I didn't have enough of. So I just started spamming the blade bonding mechanic with common crystals until... I just so happened to get Zenobia, who was spoiled for me and heard is one of the best blades in the game, so I wanted to use her. Unfortunately, she got bonded to Morag, who I had as a tank, but I used Rex's ability to bond with any blade on her. and this meant that I had to beat dozens of unique monsters to max out her affinity chart, so I went around the world and did all of that, as well as Zenobia's own side quest. After doing all that and resting to level up from all that experience, I finally entered the World Tree, then had to leave partway through to get Poppy Cutie Pie. But at this point, I was dealing with most battles very easily as I had gotten much better. Especially with Cutie Pie, as she's so goddamn strong. When I had to battle Jin again, I was sure that I was going to lose again and again. But I beat him in like 2 minutes. Then I got to my funniest and biggest highlight of the whole playthrough. I wish I was recording this so badly because I lost my shit when this happened. I got to the boss battle against Amalthus in his weird mech suit. I wasn't confident about doing this, but I had no choice. I pulled off one blade combo with Zenobia finishing, and then at about 1 minute into the fight, I did another blade combo ending with Zenobia. Electro Fire Storm. This inflicted Amalthus with Blowdown. Now, in the cutscene when he enters, he creates a hole in the floor, which appears in the boss arena. The Blowdown caused Amalthus to fall down the hole, and it instantly killed him! After all that shit with this game's bosses, it was worth it for that! I was laughing so hard, and I found out that he's apparently brutally difficult, so it just made it better. Although I've never seen anybody else able to do this, so I can't prove that it's possible. Now reaching the final chapter of the game, I got to learn how this game connects to the original Xenoblade Chronicles, which blew my mind. The original takes place in a parallel universe, while 2 exists in the universe that was destroyed by Klaus, with the Architect and Zanza being the 2 halves of Klaus, and both games taking place at the exact same time. It blew my mind, but I thought it was genius. I had finally made it. The door in front of the final boss, where Melos awaits. There was a heart-to-heart nearby, which I activated. And just by my luck, it caused Vale to reach Affinity Level 5, unlocking her side quest. As I wanted to max out all the blades I was using on my team as much as possible, just to be safe, I backtracked to do Vale's side quest, and this caused a chain effect of me discovering other side quests that I wanted to do to gain as much experience, where in the process, I also reached level 5 Affinity with Aegeon. So then I had 2 blades I wanted to max out as much as possible. In the end, I got all of the remaining available side quests completed except for 2. The Nopon Doubloon one, as I couldn't be bothered to go around the entire world again, and the Doctor one, as I needed to do a Merc mission requiring blades with Info Collector, when out of my entire time bonding blades, I only got 1 with that skill. Now that that was done, I fought the final boss, Artifice Ion, piloted by Melos. This was the most agonizing experience I've ever had with a final boss in recent memory. On my first run, I was doing okay, but then I got to the last third of his HP, and was getting ready to use a chain attack. But then, he used this move called Prometheus, where I noticed a giant spirit bomb above his head, and it's a one-hit kill. I had to start the fight all over again, and finish him with a chain attack before he could use that move. But it got worse. Every time he summoned those bloody robots, my party members wouldn't fight them. I had to fight them with Rex by himself, giving me a severe handicap, whilst Ion continues to attack from miles away where I can't hit him, resulting in me dying and getting revived by Nia numerous times until there would not be any party gauge left, and he'd kill me with Siren Buster. I needed to get 5 elemental orbs on him to win, but I could not do that for the life of me before he could summon the robots. So I spent hours constantly dying and resetting the game, until finally, by sheer luck, when he summoned the robots, my party actually started fighting them with me, even though I didn't do anything differently, letting me deal with them easily and keeping me in great shape for Ion's ranged attacks and for when he returns to the stage after watching the entirety of Infinity War. This allowed me to place a 4th elemental orb on him, and just as he was flying away again, I barely managed to get a 5th one with Mithra. So I immediately switched to Pyra, activated the chain attack, got a full burst, and fittingly ended it with burning swords. I had finished the game. I watched the cutscene where Pyra and Mithra sacrificed themselves to save Rex and the others, Gramps conveniently changing back to his old form to catch everyone as they fall from space, got called down to tea because I took so long to win, then returned and unpaused the game to see the rest of the ending, where I thought that it was going to say, Elysium was in you all along, Rex, for a second, and oh come on, that's such a cop-out! Well, I guess Rex gets a threesome now. So that was an extremely abridged version of my story playing through Xenoblade Chronicles 2. There is New Game Plus, but I'm just so tired out now, and I don't really bother with New Game Plus in any game, at least not so soon, with one exception. All I care about with Xenoblade right now is quoting Zeke and somehow obtaining the power of the Eye of Shining Justice! Now, if you'll excuse me, WarioWare Gold will probably be out in Europe by the time this video is uploaded, so I'll be busy trying to get a high score.